Hey everybody, what is up? This is Gavin Grinnell here. Today, it's been over another week since we read Doctor Sleep, alright? It's been over a week since we read the Doctor Sleep book last week. And today, we're going to read some more of the Doctor Sleep book today. So, we're going to be reading some more, and hopefully we should read another chapter today. So, make sure to go check out some of the other videos that I just recently made for you of me reading the book, alright, to see where I left off, alright? If you do, would really appreciate it, alright? Alright, so yeah, we're gonna continue off where we left off last time, and we're gonna see what else happens in the book from the movie from what I remember, and I know exactly where I left off because, well, I remember this time, and there were more certain, much more details, much more specifics in the book that I've read and that I read that I've never ever seen in the movie before, and yeah, I've never seen in a movie before. So yeah, a lot of people are right. The books are much more better and much more and has much more to it than the movies. So yeah, I can see why they left some of that all out because it's a book. You can't fit all of it into one full movie unless you want that movie to be at least maybe 4 or 5 hours, which would be too long. But I think 3 hours is long enough. I think 3 hours is long enough, which is the bestest, longest way they can go to, which I'm cool with. I'm cool with. So yeah. But anyways, guys, yeah, we're gonna be reading some more Doctor Sleep today from Stephen King. All right, from Stephen King, and so yeah, make sure to go check out some of the other videos that I just recently made for you of it to see where I left off, and that way we can continue from here, and so yeah, we could get to more reading. All right, let's do this. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Um. I'll just start from here. Happy too, it was the old man from the theater. Tonight, he was wearing baggy pink Bermuda shorts, white socks that climbed all the way up to his scrawny skin to his knees, and Jesus sandals. To Andy, wait, oh yeah, to Andy, he looked up like Grandpa Walton after 2 years in a on concentration camp. He raised his hand, and the test raised their hands. And the rest raised their hands with him. Linked that way that he sealed a howded in the crisscrossing highlight beam. They looked at a chain of weird paper dolls. "We are the true knot," he said. The voice coming from that sunken chest no longer trembled. It was the deep and resonant voice of a much younger and stronger man. "We are the true knot," they responded. "What is tied may never be untied. Here is a woman," Grandpa Flick said. "Would she join us? Would she tie her life to our life and be one of us?" "Say yes," Rose said. Yes," Andy managed. Her heart was no longer beating, it was a thrumming like wire. Rose turned the valve on her container. Wait, can canister. Oh yeah, canister. There was a small, rueful sigh, and a puff of silver mist escaped. In, instead of dissipating, dissipating on the light evening breeze, it just is just above on the canister until Rose leaned forward and pursued those face fasces fan fanis coral lips and blew gently the puff mist, looking a bit like a comic strip dialogue balloon without any words in it, drifted until it hovered above Andy's upturned face and wide eyes. "We are the true knot. We endure," Grandpa Flick proclaimed. "Sabtha Hanti," the others responded. The mist began to descend very slowly. "We are the chosen ones." Latsam Hanti," they responded. "Breathe deep," Rose said, and kissed Andy softly on the cheek. "I'll see you on the other side. Maybe." "We are the fortunate ones." "Cabana Rasani Hanti." Then all together, "We are the true knot, and we..." But Andy lost track of it there. The silver stuff settled over her, and face it was cold. When she inhaled, it came out to some sort. Oh yeah, came out to some sort of tremulous life and began screaming inside her. A child made of mist, whether a boy or a girl she didn't know, was struggling to get away, but someone was cutting. Rose was cutting, while the others stood around her in a knot, shining a dozen flashlights, eliminating the slow motion murder. Andy tried to bolt up from the recliner, but she had nobody to bolt with. Her body was gone. Where it had been was the only pain in the shape of a human being. The pain of the child's dying and her own. Embrace it. The thought was like a cool cloth pressed on the burning wound that was her body. Let's see. Okay. That's the only way, though. I can't. I've been running from this pain my whole life. Perhaps so. But you're all out of the running room. Embrace it. Swallow it. Take the steam or die. The true stood with their hands upraised, chanting the old words. Wait, how does Sabata Banti, Latsam Banti, Cabana Rasani Banti. They watched as Andy Steiner's blouse flattened where her they watched as her face turned to milk glass. Her eyes remained, though, floating like tiny balloons on the gazy strings of nerve. Nerve. But they're going to go too. Monat thought. She may not be strong enough. I thought I thought maybe she was, but I was wrong. She may have to come back a time or two, but then she'll cycle out. Nothing left but her clothes. He tried to recall his own turning and could only remember the moon had been full. There had been bonfire instead of headlights. A okay. A bonfire, the wicker of horses and the pain could actually remember pain. He didn't think so. You knew there was such a thing, and that you had suffered it, but that wasn't the same. Andy's face swung black into existence, like the face of a ghost, above the medium's table. The front of her blouse she streaked with agony. "We are the true knot. We endure," they chatted, in the crisscrossing beams of the RVs. "Sabada Hanti. We are the chosen ones. Latsam Hanti. We are the fortune ones." Wow. "Kahani Rasani Hanti." They would go on until it was over. One way or the other, it wouldn't take long. And he began to disappear again. Her flesh became cloudy glass, through which the true could see her skeleton and the bone grin of her skull. A few other feelings gleamed in that grin. Her disembodied eyes rolled widely in sockets that they were no longer there. She was still screaming, but now the sound was thin and echoing, as if it came from far of a distant hall. Rose thought she'd give up. Rose thought she'd give up. That's what they did when the pain became too much. But this was one tough baby. She became swirling back into existence, screaming all the way. Her newly arrived hands seized. Rose, with mad strength, bore down. Rose leaned forward, hardly noticing the pain. "I know what you want, honey doll. Come back, and you can have it." She lowered her mouth to Abby's, caressing Andy's upper lip. She, with her tongue, until the lip turned to mist, but the eyes stayed fixed on Rose's. "Sapatha Hanti," they chatted. Latsam Hanti. Kambana Rasani Banti." Andy came back, growing a face around her staring, pain-filled eyes. Her body followed for a moment. Rose could see the bones. Of her arms, the bones in the fingers clutching hers. Then they were once more dressed in flesh. Rose kissed her again. Even in her pain, Andy responded, and Rose breathed her essence down the younger woman's throat. "I want this one, and what I want, I get." Andy began to fade again, but Rose could feel her fighting it, getting on top of it, feeding herself with the screaming life force. She had breathed down her throat, and fan into her lungs instead of trying to push it away, taking the steam for the first time. The newest member of the True Knot spent that night in Rose O'Hara's, also known as Rose the Hot, a hot's bed, and for the first time in her life found something in her horror and pain. Her throat was raw from the screaming she'd done on the lawn recliner, but she screamed again as this new she done on the lawn recliner, but she screamed again as the new sensation, pleasure, to match the pain of her turning, took her body and once more seemed to render transparent. "Scream all you want," Rose said, looking up from between her thighs. They've heard plenty of them, the good as well as bad. If so, what she missed, what her bastard father had stolen from her, and people thought she was a thief. It's like this for us, and we've taken the steam, Rose said. That's all you need to know. She lowered her head, and it begun again. Not long before midnight, Token Charlie and Baba the Russian were sitting on the lower step of the Token Charlie's bounder, sharing. A joint, and looking up at the moon. From Rose's Earth cruiser came more screams. Charlie and Baba turned to each other and grinned. "Someone is liking it," Baba remembered. "What's not to like?" Charlie said. Andy woke up in the day's first early light with her head pillowed on Rose's. Oh goodness. She felt entirely different. She felt no different at all. She lifted her head and saw Rose looking at her with those remarkable gray eyes. "You saved me," Andy said. "You brought me back. I couldn't have done it alone. You wanted to come. In more ways than one, honey doll. What we did, we can't do it again, can we?" Rose shook her head, smiling. No, and that's okay. Some experiences absolutely cannot be topped. Besides, my man will be back today. What's his name? He answers to Henry Rothman, but that's just for Rubes. His true name is Crow Daddy. Do you love him? You do, don't you? Rose smiled, drew Andy closer, kissed her, but she did not answer. "Rose? Yes. Am I still human?" To this Rose gave the same answer Dick Halloran had once given young Danny Torrance, in the same name, the cold tone of voice. "Do you care?" Andy decided she didn't. She decided she was home. Wow. That was more specific than for what I've known, for what I've seen in the movie, and it had much more to it than for what I've seen from the Dr. Sleep movie. So yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Because I know in the Doctor Sleep movie, when the True Knots was trying to get Andy, what's her name, in the movie, to join them, and basically when she took the steam, like, and when she was in pain, it happened for about 5-10 minutes, because I know they can't fit all of that in, which I'm okay with, I'm cool with, because we know exactly what's gonna happen. And so that's what happened within the Doctor Sleep movie, from what I read from the book, which is why I remember it all. So yeah. But that was good. That was pretty good. Alright. Chapter 3. Mama. There was a muddle of bad dreams, someone swinging a hammer and chasing them down the endless halls, an elevator that ran by itself, edges of the skypes of animals that came to life and closed in on him, and finally one clear thought: I wish I were dead. Dan Torrance opened his eyes. Sunlight shot through them and into the aching head, threatening to set his brains on fire. The hangover to the end of all hangovers, his face was throbbing. His nostrils were clogged shut except for a tiny pinhole in the left one that allowed out in a thread of air. Left one, no, it was the right, could breathe through his mouth, but it was foul to the taste of his whiskey and cigarettes. His stomach was a ball of lead, full of all the wrong things. Morning after some old drinky buddy or other had called to the wolf sensation. Loud snoring from beside him. Alright. We'll continue with the second video.